What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're taking a closer look at the brand new iPhones, iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Pro. I have it here on the Apple Store. It has finally been updated, so you guys can have a look for yourselves if you guys were interested to do so. Let me just readjust my microphone really quick. So here on the side, you guys will see what's happening on my phone. We're going to be taking a closer look together. iPhone 15 Pro is among us. So strong, light, and all new titanium design. I was actually watching the live stream earlier and we had a closer look at all of this stuff. I'll try to get some B-roll shots from Apple themselves on screen so you guys can have a quicker look at what the iPhone 15 Pro looks like. And I think this is really interesting. They're finally touching up on the design of the iPhone 15 Pro itself, which is giving it a brand new look to it. And I think the titanium build is really going to be something that once, I hope they stick with it. So hopefully we'll see more of it in the future. Not only that, I really hope that it enhances the overall durability of the phone. It enhances the lightness of the phone. Titanium is a lighter material in general, so hopefully that will create a much more sturdy yet light phone at the same time. So I think this is really the time and point for Apple to shine with this new titanium. We've seen it on the Apple Watch Ultra. I'm glad to see it on iPhone. Really does feel premium. The one thing I saw in the live stream, and I think is super interesting, is finally they're getting their own Pro chip for the iPhone Pro models. So A17 Pro, I'm really excited to see how capable this chip is. It sounds promising. I think we're going to be getting some really nice numbers and some really great performance from this specific chip. Now, naturally, we're still looking at a 6.1 inch display, a 6.7 inch display for the Pro Max model. And I think the overall design is very refined. And I think they're starting to really shape the iPhone into something really premium, really... it's really elegant at this point. You know, the iPhone 13 Pro was already a big step up from the 12 Pro, and then we had the 14 Pro, which introduced a dynamic island, which is great. And I'm also going to be touching up on dynamic island in a minute, because I do think that the iPhone 15 lineup this year has had some serious improvements that it's definitely worth considering. But the iPhone 15 Pro will be made out of titanium. It's strong, it's light, it's pro. This is what they're saying on it. It's got some advancements. Now, the one thing I did notice that I think is a little bit of a downfall, and I think it's a little sad, is the fact that they didn't improve the megapixel camera. So the main camera is still a 48 megapixel camera. It is better, it is more powerful, and it has a 120 millimeter zoom, which is really good. But at the same time, I think it would have been not only a pretty easy, pretty simple thing to just add a higher megapixel count camera. You know, Samsung has had 128 megapixel cameras for a long time, you know, and their last model actually had a 200 megapixel camera, which is surprising. It's very powerful, and I think it's kind of a shame that Apple is still stuck at 48 megapixels. Then again, we'll have to wait and see how the iPhone 15 Pro performs on a day-to-day basis. I'll be covering here on the channel. I'll try to do the most amount of content for you guys, so stick around if you are interested for that. But yeah, for the most part, it's getting USB-C as well, which is great. I think this is finally long overdue, but finally very welcome amongst the community. We're also getting the action button, which has a couple of features, and I think that is very interesting. Refined edges, and I think it's going to be an overall smoother experience in the hands for most people who are not rocking a case. So I think that's going to be very interesting to see. We're still looking at a great battery life, and also the one thing that the main highlight about this last Apple keynote is the fact that a lot of the products, everything around Apple, the whole design of pretty much all the products is becoming more and more eco-friendly, and I think that's a great thing. You know, it's important, as they're creating such high volume every single year, pretty much every single couple of months. You know, they're coming out with products all the time. So I think it's really important for them to make a difference when it comes to recyclable materials, because let's face it, they're producing in such high volume, in such high quantity. So it does make a difference. Even when if it's every 3 months with their newer products, it makes an absolutely huge difference. Now, really quickly, before we jump into the iPhone 15, which I think is definitely the more interesting one this time around, let's jump into the colorways real quickly. I really want to have a quick look. So the new titanium colorway is probably going to be the more favorable one. I think it's my personal favorite in all of them. It has this really nice sand golden finish to it. They have this blue titanium, which is really reminiscent of the midnight colorway from the MacBook Air. If anything, if you look at the 15 Pro lineup and you look at the colorways, you'll notice that they're basically the same as the MacBook Air lineup, and I think it is for good reason. We also have the white titanium and we have the black titanium, so they're all made of titanium, so different colors here and there. Now the black is looking a little bit more graphite and not so dark. We'll have to wait and see in hands how it looks, but definitely the regular titanium and the blue titanium are the better looking ones in my personal opinion. Now, for the sake of the channel, I probably will be picking up all the colorways and we're gonna have a closer look at them together. That being said, I think the main one that I'll be picking up will be the regular titanium, as it is the regular default one, and it is the newer color. So we're going to be covering that here on the channel, so stick around for that. Now, that being said, I do want to jump into the iPhone 15 as well, as this is definitely the more interesting one alongside the iPhone 15 Pro. Sure, the iPhone 15 Pro has a couple of new features, action button, it has all of these new little tweaks in here and there, it has a titanium finish and all of these things, but I really do think that for this time around, the iPhone 15, considering that the last regular iPhone, the iPhone 14, was just a serious flop. Like, listen, this is just my opinion. I really do think that the last iPhone was kind of a flop, and the iPhone 14 compared to the iPhone 13 was just not a big improvement, and they were really overdue to upgrade the regular iPhone lineup, as that one sells a lot of units. You'd be surprised how many people have just a regular iPhone. The Pro model is very very flashy, and it has a lot of features that most people don't really need. As a content creator, definitely the Pro is super welcome and we use it all the time. But as a regular consumer, the iPhone 15 I think can get the job done just fine, especially with this new model, considering it has now officially a dynamic island, which I think is great. The dynamic island is amazing. It's been very popular on the 14 Pro lineup, and it's nice to see it across the board for all iPhone models, and I think it's great. It definitely is very welcome to the iPhone 15. It feels normal, it feels natural, it feels like it's supposed to be on the iPhone 15, and I think this is really great. It also has a really big camera upgrade. It has a 48 megapixel main camera, which is basically the same as the iPhone 15 Pro. So this is huge. This is actually pretty huge. Great performance, great numbers. I think for just a regular iPhone 15, you're getting a 48 megapixel camera, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, I do have to give my hat off to Apple for this implementation. The 48 megapixel camera is great, and I think it is a significant improvement, and I think it's definitely going to be competitive against the other smartphones that will be coming out later in the year, so such as the regular Samsung S24, the Google Pixel 8, which is also on the horizon. We've had some leaks here and there. Stick around, we're going to be covering that when we get more information. For the iPhone 15 regular and the iPhone 15 Plus, again, we're getting a Plus model, which is very good. I think it's become very known that people really do enjoy the bigger size screens, and I've seen a lot of people with the iPhone 14 Plus, even though it is definitely not the iPhone to get. It's good, it's decent, it has the bigger size, but I definitely have to admit that at this very time and point, iPhone 15 Plus might just be the best bang for your buck in terms of pricing, in terms of features. It has the new USB-C, it has the dynamic island, it has 48 megapixel main camera, it has an extended battery life, and most importantly, it has the big screen, which is now OLED XDR display. So I really do think that overall for the iPhone lineup, the iPhone 15 Plus definitely is the best one at the moment in terms of value price ratio combination. So within the iPhone 15 lineup, you're looking at an A16 Bionic chip, which is really powerful. It's the one that we saw in the iPhone 14 Pros from last year. Very powerful chip. Now, I definitely do think that this chip will hold up against time. It's great. It's super powerful, high efficiency, high cores. It's great, and I think it's very welcome to the iPhone 15 lineup. Nevertheless, I want to cover a little bit the colorways for the iPhone 15 Plus and the iPhone 15 regular. It comes in pretty much all these pastel colors. So it has this really light blue that is almost white. It has this pink colorway, which I think is kind of the nicer one out of all of them. It's definitely interesting. It has this yellow, which is very pastel-y. We also had a yellow, super bright yellow for the iPhone 14, which I wasn't a big fan of. It literally looked like a giant banana. Not my cup of tea. We have a pastel green, which is also pretty interesting. It's very reminiscent. I think this whole lineup of iPhones, this old colorway, is reminiscent a little bit of the iPhone 5, the iPhone 5C. If any of you remember the iPhone 5C, I'll have a picture on the screen. Now, that was the year where Apple released an iPhone similar to the regular model, but with a little less performance, a little less specs, and more affordable. So it was kind of the little brother before the SE. It was the one that started it all when the more budget iPhones. And I think these colorways are kind of reminiscent to the 5C. And last but definitely not least, we have a black colorway. And I think that the iPhone 14 Plus and the black colorway looks the best out of all of them. It definitely looks amazing. They also have color embedded into the whole design, which is definitely great. And that in itself enhances the overall colorway and just the overall look, the finish of the phone. So by the time I'm recording this video, these iPhones will be available for pre-order on Friday, the 15th of December, and they will be available worldwide on September 22nd. So stick around. There's going to be a lot more videos on the channel. I actually really love September, October. It's amazing. There's a lot of stuff dropping and it's really fun. Apple Watch Series 9 also was announced, and Apple Watch Ultra 2. If you guys are interested in that, let me know. Leave it in the comment section down below as always. And with that being said, I am more than happy to cover all this on the channel. Let me know what you think. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Let me know what you think of these new iPhones, iPhone 15 Plus, iPhone 15 Pro Max. Let me know what you think. As always, I wish you the best of luck in everything you do, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Deuces.